What you need to know about Weibo. Now this is thoughtful. Hello, I'm Nikki Wang in Shanghai. Microblogs are not new in China, but Sina Weibo has taken the country by storm. Foreign media often call it the Twitter of China, but it's not that simple. How do Weibo platforms work? What's behind the sudden explosion of Sina Weibo, and how can it help your business? We'll answer those questions, plus our own PT Black will explain why microblogs are so popular amongst Chinese. With us now is Sam Fleming, founder and chairman of CIC, which provides social business intelligence in China. Sam, welcome to the show. Sam, can you explain what's going on here? It seems that Sina Weibo has taken us every aspect of our lives.
Well, first of all, I think it's Sina. Sina is very successful at marketing their products, even social products. You can go back to 2005 when they launched blogs. They were not the first BSP, blog service provider, to launch. There was Boki and a number of others. But they launched blogs. They launched it with celebrities, Xu Jinglei as one example. And, and then blogs back in 2005, 2006, everyone's talking about how blogs took China by storm. So I think that Sina is very good at marketing their products. That's one reason, because they were not the first. I think the second reason, though, is the product is a good one. It fits the unique social media landscape that we have here in China. First of all, it's very viral, and that's something that Chinese social media, or Chinese internet, has always been social. BBS and blogs have always been massive in China, but these things have never been viral. And now, instead of content being siloed on a BBS or on a Douban or any sort of content anywhere, it can be retweeted or rebroadcasted to a much larger audience.
In terms of functionality, how is it really different from what Twitter offers?
Well, I think first of all, at a base level, it's very, very similar. But at the Twitter base level, it has things like comments, threaded comments, which Twitter doesn't have. So you can actually, it's easier to have a conversation there, and it's more similar to the old school online forums or BBS in China. Also, you've got multimedia, so rich media, so you've got video, you can upload audio, all in the page right there. And that's just something that I guess it's a product decision by Twitter, but to not include those elements. But for Chinese, I think that's made the experience even richer. And then more than that, it's also got private groups. You can set up your own sort of a Weibo group. It looks sort of like QQ groups, okay, but it's a private Weibo group. Also, they have enterprise pages, which look like Facebook brand pages. So you can say it's a lot like Twitter, but actually, evolution over the last 6 months, it's looking more and more like Facebook.
Right, so the sense of community and sharing, that element is a lot stronger with Sina.
Yeah, it's a lot stronger. I mean, there's just more to share, more ways to share. And again, it has that, in many ways, it looks like Twitter, but it also looks like Facebook, but also looks like BBS.
Do you think very slowly Sina Weibo will make the social media sites like Haixin and Renren redundant?
I don't know if it's going to make them redundant, but it's definitely had an impact, and I think it's taken some of the traffic away. I mean, again, it's a little bit of everything. We said it's a little bit of a social networking site like a Facebook, or in China, Renren or Kaixin, but it's also a little bit of a BBS because it is anonymous, and I think that people feel more free to share information, but it doesn't have to be anonymous. It's also, you can have a verified account with your real name if you want to. So it gives users, I think, a lot more flexibility. But I don't think it's a winner-take-all phenomenon of social media. I think you're going to have different sites, you're going to have different demographics for different purposes. I mean, I think Tencent Weibo, the big competitor Sina, it's not winning, but it's appealing to younger users, to tier 2, tier 3 cities. Rinrin, while maybe its growth is flat, it's still very, very popular with college students who may want to have the real name connection. So it's just adding to the very fragmented, unique, dynamic social media landscape that we have in China.
Thanks, Sam. Here's BT Black with a thought or two on why microblogs are so popular in China.
Why is China so obsessed with Weibo? The product is part of the reason. Weibo is not only a microblog, it has functions that overlap with both Facebook and Twitter, increasing its appeal. Another reason is that Weibo's decentralized nature feels relatively free of censorship. But its core appeal lies deeper. Chinese culture makes an important distinction between inside and out, the official and the personal. In traditional architecture, we see a blank wall turned to the street with an open communal courtyard for the family. Massive restaurants and karaoke centers here are mazes of empty hallways. All the action is happening inside private rooms. In behavior, Chinese are famously generous to their friends and family, anyone in their social circle, but notoriously unsympathetic to strangers. Weibo is all about the interior. It's like a massive private karaoke room. With Weibo, bosses can write about their private lives without worrying about hierarchy. Celebrities talk about their pimples. Girls don't have to be pretty or appropriate. Weibo allows its users to be free of the self-awareness that defines Chinese public life. That's its strength and its limit. Weibo is great for gossip, but bad for passing reliable news. Conversations are frustratingly vague, comments on references, on links. It's repetitive, retweets on retweets. All of that happening at high speed with little consideration to yesterday, much less tomorrow. Weibo is a powerful complement to China's formal, official media, but it's not a replacement.
Thanks, BT. With me now is Eugene Chu, digital marketing consultant, Scarlett Locke, head of digital at TBWA Tequila in Shanghai, and Chinese search marketing expert TR Harrington, founder and CEO at Darwin Marketing. TR, Western media always refer Sina Weibo to the Twitter in China, but really consumers and marketers use it quite differently. Can you explain some of these differences?
Sure. I would say, there's a number of things that I think both users and brands are doing a little bit differently. From a user perspective, certainly the ability to, I would say, communicate in private groups is something that I think Twitter is likely to copy in the future, so that you will be able to not have to have everything out in the public, because not all of your communications obviously want to be public. The second thing that I think that they were kind of more of a leader on was adding in multimedia. Certainly being able to add in whether it's pictures or video, and you can stream like Youku videos right inside of Weibo right now. That's something, especially in terms of, I'd say, the market and the users, they respond to this type of multimedia even more so than just the text. So this has been a key driver, I think, for Weibo's growth. And then from a brand perspective, they were I would say, the first one to introduce kind of these brand pages, right? Which is something that was obviously inside of Facebook, inside of Rinrin here in China, but it's not something that Twitter has kind of jumped on, which is kind of surprising in a way.
So it's quite interesting that now you are anticipating Twitter copying some of the functions.
Absolutely.
Of Sina.
Absolutely.
Well, Scarlett, what do marketers need to know about Sina and its differences, major differences between Sina and other microblogs in China?
I think one of the things I actually always feel that I call it Sina is it's a hybrid. And I think one of the things that's really great is actually really taking a lot of good functionality from the West, whether or not it's from Twitter, like TR saying, or Facebook, really sort of improving it. And I think one of the great things they have done is really taking the best in terms of technology, but also customizing for the Chinese consumer, being that there are millions of bloggers in China, which is a true phenomenon for China and specific to China, really utilizing that. And I think there's also a newer version of Weibo that coming up, which is light blogging, which is actually heavier blogging if you really think about actually giving you more characters, more things that you could upload. So in that sense, I think they are truly innovator in a lot of sense, which is very great innovation that TR is mentioning, which is that other marketers, I think the West is going to start copying, and they're actually one of the more platforms that's actually open. which is a phenomenon in China, which is most of the platforms are closed.
Is there one way of using Weibo, or is it a free-form platform, Eugene?
I don't think there's one right way to do Weibo. It's like any channel, you need to look at the brand first. Obviously, a luxury brand is going to use Weibo very differently than an FMCG brand. So you might see brands like Starbucks doing a lot of these coupons, come down to the store, try something out, but that would not be image building for luxury brands.
And who do you think, in your opinion, are the better ones in the market right now who are utilizing Weibo?
For me, I think Starbucks is the clear leader in the social media. Not just from a China perspective, but from a global perspective. I think they took a lot of learnings from Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Foursquare, and they brought that to China. So you always see Starbucks as one of the first brands to jump onto location-based, one of the first to go into Weibo. And not only do they bring out lots of coupons and deals, which fans love, but they ask interesting questions. They thank and reward their fans. So that it's a genuine two-way relationship, and the tone and manner is very much like your friendly neighborhood cafe. Versus like a brand talking to a mass of consumers.
Does it cost money to market on Weibo?
Again, I think that depends, right? I would say that there's direct investment that Sina is now looking for in terms of enterprise, which Scarlett was talking about a little bit earlier, and I'll let her jump on that topic. But I would say indirectly, there's no question that they're making money, especially from some of the FMCG or CPG brands who didn't traditionally advertise on Sina's portal, right? Because that was really focused on tier 1, and they're really focused on domestic. But they said, look, you want access to our Weibo, advertise on the homepage of the portal, and then we'll talk, right? So indirectly, definitely, they're finding ways to monetize it, but enterprise.
I think the enterprise version that they've launched is definitely, there's significant numbers that Sina is out asking from a marketer standpoint. Whether or not that money is going to sort of, are marketers or brands committing to it is a little different. And it comes back to everyone is very conscious in terms of return on investment. I think across the board, right? Given the economy, even though China is booming, we're still all very conscious. And I think part of it is really based on how do you actually, value a fan. We kind of talk about Facebook is having the same conversation as well as Twitter. That I think fundamentally it doesn't change. It's as a brand, how do you put value against a fan or someone who follows you? I think in theory, we all believe that when a consumer likes your brand, it leads to sales. But I think in actuality, there's still a lot of science that needs to be sort of significantly to see whether or not we can see numbers.
I don't see very much display advertising in Weibo. I think most of the money is actually being made by these seeding companies like TN and In My Show, who are getting paid monthly fees to maintain the brand Weibo and coming up with all those daily discussion topics. So I think the main costs of going into Weibo is not the payment to Sina for your brand page. It's that annual plan of coming up with daily responses and interesting weekly content topics.
Other social networking sites such as Renren and Kaixin be alerted because Sina is now taking users from them?
I think they're very worried. But I think there's a continued reason for them to exist. The way in which you use a Renren or a Kaixin is quite different because, first of all, it's your real name, they're your real friends, and it's a private network. It's not open to the whole world. Whereas Weibo is very much about gossip, rumor, and it's not quite as private. So, and just simple things like sharing a photo album, you're still more likely to do that on Kaixin or Renren than you are on Weibo. So I think that whilst they may be losing their share of time, there's a continued role for them to play in the consumer's online behavior.
For foreign marketers, do you have like one piece of advice that you can give them for trying to market their products or brands on Weibo?
If you're a Western, company thinking about coming into China, absolutely, positively, this has to be part of your strategy because even if you don't want to be proactive, people are going to talk about you there anyway, right? So it's better to have a voice and to be part of the mob, right? Rather than just let the mob run you.
Scarlett, Eugene, and TR, thanks for being on Thoughtful China. Now this wraps it up for us today. Be sure to subscribe to us on Tudor and YouTube. You can also follow us on Weibo and Twitter. We'll see you again.